Recording. Okay. This podcast is for informational purposes only and should not be considered legal, health, tax, professional advice. We are not responsible for any losses, damages, or liabilities that may arise from the use of this podcast. This podcast may contain is not intended to replace professional medical advice. The views expressed in this podcast may not be those of the host or the management. This podcast may contain adult themes, so parental discretion is advised. So today, we have a fierce advocate, a resilient fighter, a visionary in healing innovation. Her journey through chronic illness and her mission is empowered others will leave you inspired and uplifted. So, Veronika, will you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Hello everyone, and thank you for inviting me for your podcast, Lorna. So my name is Veronika, and I am a breast cancer coach, therapist, also advocate for breast cancer prevention. And that all started with my own breast cancer journey, because I spent large of my proportion of my life in corporate career, but the breast cancer diagnosis was the life changing event that helped me to step into my life purpose, and I'm now fortunate to be helping other women navigate this difficult journey.
All right, there you hear it. Good. So get ready for a powerful dose of hope, transformation, and truth. So, a lot of persons that I've spoken to, say that most time they're just going for routine blood work and routine tests, and they're given a diagnosis. So can you describe the moment when you realized that something was not right with your body?
Yes, so it was in a moment when I was living my best life. So I didn't expect anything bad to happen, because I had a career progression. I felt really healthy. I was really active. And one Friday afternoon, I got back home from my run, had a bath, and noticed that one of my breasts is misshaped, and that is very lumpy. So I booked an appointment with my GP first thing in Monday morning. And at that time, I didn't think much of it, because I thought maybe, I don't know, you just start to think about maybe I just injured myself somewhere, I just hit myself, or it's something to do with hormones and the periods, because I was just expecting a period. So I thought it's just a hormonal change. And when was the biggest moment of realization that something's really wrong was within a space of 2 weeks, when I was between the GP appointment and my appointment at the one-stop clinic, breast clinic. Within the space of 2 weeks, I had another lump size of a grape appearing on the top of my breast. And that was very scary, because suddenly I feel like this doesn't feel normal. This does feel like something's really wrong, but I still didn't want to admit it. But then the breast cancer clinic, where they did a mammogram, they did ultrasound, and they told me straight away at 99% it was cancer.
Were they able to give you the stage?
Not at that time. So at that moment, I just knew that it is a breast cancer, and that the whole breast is covered with calcification. But I wasn't sure, because there was another 2 weeks time when I was attending a lot of scans and other examinations, where they were able to then define whether what's the extent of the illness.
So what was the first 72 hours like when you went back to get the results? Were you there alone, or did you have somebody with you? What was happening during that time?
Yeah, very good question. Because the appointment at the breast clinic that I was just mentioning, I went there on my own, because I don't know, I just thought I could program my mind to be healthy. I don't know what I thought, but I just went there and was thinking I just wanted to get it done and over. And I didn't expect anyone to tell me anything on that day, because from what I heard from my friend, that's usually a period because they do biopsies, and they wait for the results of the biopsies. So I was expecting to not know anything on the day. And when they were finished with the examination, they said, just, get dressed and just if you can come to another room to book your appointment for next week, which was aligned with what I was expecting.
Right.
But when the door opened, it was a really beautiful room with pink cushions. And the first thing came to my mind was, oh, this is the room where they tell you the bad news. And it was. So everything just felt completely surreal. Like I thought I was just dreaming, like I couldn't comprehend what I heard. I believe that I will wake up because this is, these things doesn't happen to us. They don't
Right.
happen to us. There's things that we hear about, but they never
Right.
close. And fortunately, I had pre-agreed to visit my friend just after the hospital visit. And that was probably the fortunate thing that could happen at that moment, because I was so confused that the journey to my friend's house normally takes 15 minutes. I was driving 45. Probably shouldn't have been driving at that time. I was just missing the turnings and I just wasn't really able to comprehend what happened. And it was maybe 2-3 hours that my friend talked to me and tried to cheer me up, and I was just like not listening, not even being present.
Right.
But something interesting happened as I was saying goodbye to my friend. As I was reaching for the handle of the car to say goodbye, it was something like suddenly something switched in my head. And I turned around and I said, I don't know if it's curable or not, but I will do everything to heal. I've got this. And that came out of nowhere. And since that moment, it was like that driving force to say, well, what I need to do is to look at my diet. I've heard that people used juicing as one of the ways to support the healing journey. I will just explore everything, like spiritual healing, whatever it takes, I go into it fully. And then since then, I was on a mission and I contacted people who I knew could help me with the individual elements.
So basically, a lot of your beliefs and habits changed because of this cancer diagnosis. Would that be a correct statement?
Yeah, so there was a lot to do with the lifestyle. I thought before that I ate healthily, but I didn't. I suddenly discovered that the food I'm eating was more focused on like keeping fit and slim rather than eating healthy things. So it was all about learning that we need to look at where our food comes from, whatever that is, what is the source of it and how it was treated, if it was treated with chemicals. So now and then transition to like clean, mostly plant-based diet.
Right.
But it was from the place of love, I would say, because I really wanted to look after my body better and implement things that I believed would help me. And I started juicing, and I did 2 to 3 juices every day, so literally overdosing on vitamins and nutrients.
Okay.
And I continued exercising, and it was a lot about working with my mind to tackle the challenge and to try to control my mind rather than my mind controlling me.
Right. What were you most afraid of losing?
It was definitely, definitely my breast. I didn't actually, I sort of set it in my head when I knew I was going to lose my hair through chemotherapy. I set it that I will experiment with wigs and I will really be like, I sort of got in a mode of being excited about trying new hairstyles.
Right.
So that didn't got me that much as thinking about losing my breast. And I think until the latest moment possible, I was still holding on to, well, maybe I can avoid this operation. So that was like I wanted to be clear of cancer before the operation.
Okay. So you
And
won't have to do the surgery.
yes, but I
Okay.
think it was meant to happen this way, that I was meant to have the surgery, because now I can understand the women who are actually going through that treatment and what it means for them. So I believe it was part of my journey to actually go through it all, because the last scan before the operation, which was like 3 weeks before, showed still 2 millimeters of a tumor remaining in the breast. However, when they did the operation, they took the tissue out. They then sent it to the laboratory and found that there was no cancer left on the day of the operation. So my
God.
manifestation worked. I got cancer-free
Oh my
before the
gosh.
operation, but I
Mhm.
believe it wasn't meant to happen for me that way.
Mhm.
Otherwise, I would potentially opt out from the operation, or maybe it would be completely different story.
Right, right, right. That was awesome. Okay. So so basically you move from fear to awakening. You move from fear to awakening. So you embrace the plant-based nutrition and the spiritual healing. You found those paths, right? You
Yes,
found,
and I
yeah.
think yes, because I think it was also I was close to like spiritual um development since I was around 18, so I naturally was inclined to include that in my healing journey, and that helped me to look at the way how I lived before, the way how I experienced life, the way how I was showing up to the world, and to release some old patterns. And it helped me to step into a new version of myself.
So, so does other family members in your family have it? Is it something hereditary or you're the only person so far that has been diagnosed with it?
So we had some cancers. My grandma had lung cancer,
Okay.
but she was also a heavy smoker.
Mhm.
But the tests didn't, because they did genetic tests on me, and they didn't prove any inherited genes with breast cancer.
Okay, okay. So how did your body change, your relationship with your body? You said that you will now focus on not just what you eat, but where it came from and all of that. And if you want to expound on that for our listeners, how did
Yes, so
your relationship with the body change throughout the journey? Hmm.
it is interesting because I actually learned to love my body more than before. And when I look at myself in a mirror, I feel deep gratitude and love for myself and for my body, despite of the fact that, my hair has changed. I used to be blonde and had a straight hair. Now I've got curly, dark hair. I gained weight. I also had the breast reconstruction, so one breast looks a little bit different than the other. Despite of this, I look at myself and I feel the deep love for myself. And I believe that when we embrace it and when we learn to love our body more beyond that journey, then the negative reaction that we expect from others sort of melts away, because it's almost like other people sense this from you. And if you are happy with your body, then everyone else will.
Right, right, right. So walk us through a day in Veronika's healing lifestyle. Just walk us just at a very high level. What you do in the morning, just a high level. Just walk us through what you do.
Yes, so I do have a specific routine that I do every morning. If I don't do it, because, for example, I have an early flight and I just don't have time spare, I can feel it on myself that I haven't done it. And that is, as soon as I wake up, I just sit in my bed and I go into a meditation. And this is something, people sometimes worry that you have to be experienced. Even if you haven't done it, it's just closing your eyes and allow yourself to go through certain steps. So the steps I do, and that helped me greatly, is to imagine a deep unconditional love I hold to someone or something, and then transfer the love to my body and see my body filling with that self-love. And then implement some sort of gratification, be grateful for something and celebrate one little thing. And then I visualize my goals, what I'm working on, and visualize like it has already happened. And then also visualize how I want that day to go. So it's almost like a mind programming for the day as well. And that already leaves me with the feeling of having a fulfilled, positive day. And it just sets everything from the start. Obviously, things happen throughout the day. So if I can, I go back to it throughout the day, maybe lunchtime, afternoon, just even if it's for 2-3 minutes, just to refocus and recenter. Then in the morning, I do my morning juice or morning smoothie that I sometimes use also some supplements that promotes women's health or hormone health or prevention of any diseases. And I mix it all up, and that's my morning cocktail that boosts me with energy.
All right.
And sometimes I do journaling. It depends on the day. And I think another important part of my day is exercise, whether that's walk, run, or if it's really bad weather, I just dance with YouTube.
Okay, so there you go. A high level of life in Veronica's life. So you said that you found purpose in your pain. So tell us about how you do your coaching, trauma, quantum theory, and healing circle emerge.
Yeah, so I think because I was close to, like, I was always interested into coaching, even in my previous career. So I like to help other people to succeed and to use transformation to their benefit. So when I was diagnosed with the breast cancer, I knew that I want to share this all the wisdom and the inner power I found within me with others. So I started with writing a book. And that book, then because I started to write everything, the story, the hint and tips and everything I used, and did like a further research. And I think that just formed like a baseline for my work. So in terms of the coaching, it's about transformation. It's not just a support for women, but it's for women who really want to emerge and who want to really work on themselves on all levels and to find out how to step into a different version of themselves, more fulfilled and happier. So these are like a 6 or 12 months transformational programs. And that encompasses everything, the physical part, the emotional, the mental, and the spiritual, because I do believe that we heal on the whole wholeness. And then I feel like, so for example, trauma healing was something that I added last year because I felt it was the missing piece of the puzzle. Because there's a lot of traumas that can cause imbalance in our bodies that can then eventually manifest itself in unhealthy ways in our lives. And also breast cancer itself is a deep trauma. So I wanted something to not only help my clients to clear in terms of what happened before the diagnosis, but to help them to move forward. So that's where the quantum trauma healing comes along.
Yeah. When we spoke, you told me about your vision board during healing. I was very fascinated with that. I know we don't know with the vision board, but I was thinking that now when people are going through this sort of thing, that they can't see anything beyond the experience, what they're experiencing now. So can you tell our listeners about that? I'm very excited to hear that, and I'd like to expound on that for me, please.
It is interesting because, as you said, when you're going through something like this, you sort of can't see through it. And I think that just shows even more importance. And I know you asked in the previous question also about the healing circles, and I think it just goes hand in hand, because when I was diagnosed, you can join a lot of support groups and you can read a lot about what side effects other women have, and how much they struggle, but there is nothing that would help them to focus on the healing, not on the illness, because the whole team of professional focuses on illness. The loved ones are worried about the illness, so it's us who are literally going through it to turn to not positivity, but to focus on the healing, because what we focus on amplifies. And that's why I created the healing circles, which are free to attend for women affected by breast cancer. And these are exactly to create a space where I can help them to see things from different perspective, try to implement exercises and mindfulness that will help them on the journey. So I think that's really important. And that's when it comes with the vision board, because that's what we focus on essentially. So if we have something, if you have a purpose, if you have something beyond that breast cancer experience that we want to achieve, then and it can be just happier family life. It can be a visiting of a place that we always wanted to go and never went. It doesn't have to be changing career. It doesn't have to be like completely huge things. It can be start painting. It can be simple things that make our soul joyful and fulfilled. And I would say it's not only to see what is beyond that breast cancer journey, but how we can try to not put our life completely on hold, and maybe use that time when we are going through the difficult journey to start knitting, start painting, start doing something that we can do still whilst we're going through that, but what brings us joy and what helps us to focus on feeling better, not feeling worse.
Yes, that's so true. Tell us about the first time that you helped someone through their cancer journey, and how did it feel? How did it make you feel the first time that you helped someone through their cancer journey?
So I think because when I stepped into this career before I got the first client, you have a lot of self-doubts, and it's just like, am I on the right path? Is it, am I actually okay to do this? And and it was really nice, because I could see that person to start making progress and to have the aha moments and to actually feel better about themselves. Although they were going through difficult time, they were able to start picking and focusing on the good things on that journey, and to focus on the gratitude of, feeling better beyond for example, the chemo treatment. So it's just to not focusing on that treatment itself, but being able to then every day say, yes, it's great because I'm feeling better, and I'm feeling better again, and I'm feeling better again. So to really see that shift, how much impact that do when someone has the guidance and they can start focusing on getting better rather than being in that traumatic situation. And then obviously I've been through with the person for some time, so I could really see them blossoming after a few months.
And I think the fact that you've been through it, you've gone through the fire, there's nothing that they're going through that you haven't experienced, and you're here, and you're thriving. So at least they can see you're not somebody who's never walked in their shoes and you telling them what to do, but you've been there, and this is what you've done to move on. So that's awesome. That's beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah. was there any time or moment when you said, I'm not just surviving anymore, I'm becoming. Was there a time?
Yes, I think there were few moments. So for example, the first moment was when I realized, because I think it was just I was questioning my life purpose just before I was diagnosed. So I then realized quite early on that maybe this happened to me for a reason. Maybe this is so that I can help others. And maybe it was the way how I dealt with the trauma itself. But
Exactly.
it really,
Mhm.
really helped me. That was one of the moments when I was so dedicated to explore everything, to research everything, not just for myself, but essentially for the
For
other women
others.
to come. And the second moment was when I finished the chemotherapy treatment after 5.5 months, and I had 3 weeks until the operation. And with the doctor's permission, I went to Malta, which is a place that I absolutely love. And I went there for a couple of days, and I swam with a dolphin, which was my that was my childhood dream. So
Beautiful.
I didn't put my life again, I didn't put my life on hold. I didn't break any rules. I had it with all the doctor's permission, but I was able to do something that made my the whole journey better. It helped me to reset after the chemo and get strong and resilient for the operation. And it was one of the most profound healing moments of my journey.
So, what you said is so true. We are so busy, 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 and we always say we have things that we love to do, and we put it aside, we put it aside, and sometimes we even see some people put it aside till, like for instance, going on a cruise. Some people put it aside until when I no longer have to work, I'll do that. And sometimes that point happens, but you aren't able to enjoy it. Sometimes you're in a wheelchair, you have to have the oxygen mask on to breathe. You can't breathe, but you're on this cruise and you can't do anything. So I love what you said about, resetting and doing things that you really want to do in life. That's
Yes.
beautiful. Yeah.
And you know what? It was because it was on my vision board.
Ah, there you go. That vision board again, eh? So what drives you today? What drives you today? What drives you today?
It is the passion, having the purpose, and having to see the impact that my work now has on other women.
All right, so you have a book coming up. So just give us a sneak preview, anything that we can look out for in that book. The book.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the book is a story of my journey. So it is according to the timeline how my treatment went, but it also gives you insight into how my life was before and what I was striving for, or what I mistaken, or I got how misled I was in terms of what I actually wanted from life, and how this journey helped me to realize my true potential, but realize also what is really important in life.
Right.
And you will be able to see my strong moments when I was on the woman on the mission, nothing can get me. And then it was then balanced with the complete lows when I felt really weak, really low in energy, low in motivation, like nothing can ever change it. So it's just interesting to see like how my thought process was, and
Right.
how what was the journey mentally, emotionally, and physically throughout that year when I was going through the breast cancer.
Mhm. What advice would you give somebody who has recently got their diagnosis and they don't know what to do? What advice would you give them?
Yeah, so I would say the number one, which I've already touched a little bit, is to focus on healing and find ways how they feel they can focus on healing rather than on the illness. So make that choice that they will invest the time into finding their own ways of being able to focus on healing. And then reach out to women in communities that you join, or women you will come across, you will see on social media, who have been through the breast cancer journey and who are now thriving in variety of ways, and who sharing these stories because they feel like they are ready to share these stories. So I think that's the key, to learn from these women who are thriving rather than from some of the groups that can actually bring our mind and the way how we actually see the whole future down. And then spend time with people who are positive, who are empowering, who support us, and at the same time define your own boundaries, because you will need space, you will need understanding without feeling guilty. So make clear boundaries with your loved ones, with your friends, what you actually need throughout the journey, that you will feel supported, and don't be afraid to ask for help.
Okay.
And there is a lot of guidance, in order to what to do. You can just go on my website. You will see a little bit how what areas to look at, because it can feel quite overwhelming. But the first 4 things that I mentioned are the key, because you need to have the space to heal.
So, can you tell our listeners how to get in touch with you?
Yes, so you can go on my website, www.lotus-journey.com. If you then put /links, then you will get to my Linktree website. You will see links to my book, to my courses, webinars, and all my social media links as well.
Right. So thank you so much. So thank you for joining us on Modern Titus 2 Woman Journey. And, Veronika's story is a testament of courage, healing, and hope. If it moved you, share it, forward it, and remember, strength grows in the struggle. Until next time, keep rising.
Thank you for having me.